Good afternoon. Can you raise the, or can you click the raise hand button if you can hear me or if I am visible? Okay, thank you so much. Uh, I will, I will be sharing my presentation first. Okay, can we click the raise hand button once again if you can see my presentation? Thank you so much, teachers. Okay, so before we start our second parallel session, let's have first our temperature check. Let's try to know how are you at the moment, what do you feel at the moment by answering this poll. I will be having a poll here. I'll be launching it here. So on the bottom part of your screen, you have the icon for the activities, and you just click it, and then and can you also choose the the color of the zone that you are right now. Like for example, for the blue zone, if you feel that you slouch and sigh, if you feel like yawning, and then if you are moving slowly, then you choose the blue zone. And if you think you are, if you squirm and fidget in your seat, or you are not paying attention or frowning and then seldom talk, then you can click the yellow zone. And for the green zone, if you feel awake, if you sit up straight, that if you see and hear everything clearly, and if you smile and respond politely, you can click the green zone. And then for the red zone, if you glare and if your eyebrows are furrowed, or if you scream or yell, or in other words, you're angry, you feel angry at the moment, then you can click the red zone. So far in the poll, we have 6 votes, 7 votes. I would just like to ask the others to answer as well. Okay, I'm very sorry for the sound. I have background. I have the other speakers as well in the same room. Hopefully, you can still clearly hear my voice. Am I audible, Ma'am Julieta?
Yes, sir. I can hear your voice.
Okay, thank you so much,
Good
ma'am.
afternoon.
Good afternoon. Okay, so going back to the polls, I have here 11 votes. And so far, many are in the blue zone. So you feel like you're sleepy. And the others are good because they are in the green zone. So for those who are sleepy, you can just stretch your hands, you shake your hands so that you will feel awake. Okay, so because this session will take a little bit longer, just like in the morning session. Okay, since many are already responding to the poll, I guess it's time for us to start our session. But before that, I will be giving you an activity. So I hope that it will help you awake. It will help you, your mind um, feel energized. So in this activity, I will be asking you to log in this Slido. So you can just open a new tab, and then you can type this slido.com, and then you use the code 611222. Or if you have your phones, you can just scan the QR code here. I'll give you 30 seconds to log in or join in our Slido activity. Okay, let's try to see who are already in.
For a while, wala pa ko, sir.
Okay, sorry. So far, there are zero participants. Are you having
Tanaw mag-login,
hard
sir.
time? Okay, so far we have two participants here. So in this activity, I will be flashing statements. So I will be asking you whether how frequent you are doing the given statements. So for example, in the first statement, we have I provide timely feedback. So how frequent you are giving feedback to your students? Just based on your observation in this quarter in this semester, perhaps. So far, there are nine participants, and most of the responses are often. So it may not be always, but it's good that's often. So oftentimes you are giving timely feedback to your students, and it's a good thing. Okay. Can may I proceed to the next one? Okay. For the second one, do you establish group goals? Like for example, when you do collaboration or groupings to your students, group activities, do you establish group goals before before sending them to breakout rooms? Do you establish group goals first? Okay, so still many are answering often. And it's good that they are also always. Okay, let's proceed to the next statement. I value intellectual divergence. So when you group your students, do you value intellectual divergence? Meaning, do you value the multiple intelligences of your students, the individual differences of your students? Wow, so out of nine, many are answering always, and that's a good thing. Okay, some are answering sometimes. Okay, sige, let's proceed to the next one. How about this? In your discussion, do you ask powerful questions to reflect on a deeper level? Okay, let's try to see the responses of the others. Okay, so far, oftentimes the teachers are asking powerful questions. So when you say powerful questions, meaning it asks the students to challenges the students to give or to use their critical thinking. Okay. Now let's proceed to the next one. How about this? Do you give examples that relate to the personal experiences of your students? Okay, always. It's a good thing. Okay. So far, the leading answer is always, and some are answering oftentimes. And I am very happy because nobody is answering rarely or never. So meaning you are really good educators, and I'm also a proud Lasallian teacher here. Okay. So as you notice, these five statements that I gave to you are only a few of the things that we have to consider to show that we are conducting or we are letting our students experience the or have our approaches in learner-centered approach. So for this session, my main for this session rather, my main point here is to discuss about the pedagogy in teaching and or approaches in a learner-centered classroom. I am hoping that I will be able to receive active participation from you, dear participants, so that we will be able to achieve the following objectives. So first, may I ask somebody to read the objective? May I ask Miss Nicole to read the first objective?
At the end of this session, participants will be able to demonstrate the use of the pedagogy in teaching and or approaches in a learner-centered classroom.
Thank you, Miss Nicole. How about for the second objective? May I ask Miss Kyle Alina? Sorry, Miss, if I mispronounce your name. Miss Kale.
Participants will be able to relearn the pedagogies of teaching and the various approaches of a learner-centered classroom.
Thank you so much, Miss. And for the third one, can you read it, Miss Eve?
Create avenues for collaboration in order to improve teaching learning experiences.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Eve. So these are the objectives that we hope to achieve at the end of the session. So without further ado, let's start our session with showing you the outline first. So for this session, we will be dealing with the three key areas in teaching. So we have first the getting to know students, and then collaboration. It's about how we conduct collaboration in our classes, and lastly about the reflection, the reflective part of um, of teaching. And now I will be giving you this certain question. What can you associate with the word pedagogy? You can type your answer on the chat box. So before we learn all those things, let's try to review first. How familiar you are with the word pedagogy. So you can just type your answer on the chat box. Okay, so far we have an answer from Sir John Dill. According to him, it's about methods. When you say pedagogy, it's about methods. And it is also answered by Miss Aprilline rather. So methods, practice, what else? According to Miss Eve, practice of teaching, and it is also the same with Miss Ma'am Sally, practice, and then the theoretical concept. And according to Sir Pakot, it's about techniques. Okay, so those are all your answers are actually correct. So when you say about pedagogy, it's about the methods that you adapted for conducting the teaching learning sessions using various strategies and approaches adopted by teachers to ensure the fulfillment of the objectives. So when you say pedagogy, all the activities that you give to your students, the strategies, the methods, everything. So it really touches the concept of pedagogy. And the main goal here is for us to fulfill the objectives. And in every lesson, in every class that we do, we always have to set the objectives. And that's why we are conducting different activities. We are following different strategies. We're implementing um, different methods because our main goal here is to fulfill the objectives. So that is why in the teaching learning process, remember that there are two entities involved. We have the teacher and then the student. And the word pedagogy there, it serves as the bridge of communication. And that is why it is very important in the teaching learning process. So for the first key concept in pedagogy and learning, we have here getting to know. So here I would like to ask somebody to share. So it's about sharing, just like what we did earlier. So uh, in the first semester or in the first quarter, how were you able to conduct getting to know? How did you get to know your students? May I ask somebody here from the group earlier? Okay. May I ask you, Miss Geraldine, how did you do the getting to know of your students, Miss?
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Miss.
Good afternoon, everyone. May I ask again, sir, what you were trying to, what was the question? I'm sorry.
It's okay, Miss. For my question, it's about sharing the experience that you did when you get to know your students in the first part of the first semester or in the second semester.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. I apologize again. In my case, in the getting to know with my students, I did it both using the discussion board and Canvas and also at during teacher-directed online activity. So, of course, getting to know, of course, the introduction, the name, and then um, the main point of my getting to know at that time was to actually mangumusta sa ilaha about their welfare and then the rest kay all about academics na dayon. So that's all, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Geraldine. So you're able to ask their welfare. So it's about kumustahan. That's a nice activity, Miss. How about you, Sir Jandil? How did you get to know your students?
Okay, good afternoon. Good afternoon, sir. So for getting to know, I conducted simple activity lang, sir. I let my students introduce themselves because I know that we only have limited time and we have something to talk. Dagan kay i-discuss na mas importante pa. So I think enough na introduction, then a short kumustahan to the students po. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you so much, Sir Jandil. So, the bottom line here is you're able to ask how are the students at the moment. So it's about kumustahan. So those things are actually correct. Those are good practice when you are trying to get to know your students. So in my session, in this part here, I will just give you some tips that we also experience and search from a source here from your friends. So these are only few tips that you could also apply in your classroom. So for getting to know the students, first we have to schedule time to interact with our students. So when you talk about interacting or having scheduling a time to interact with students. Though, if you notice in our TOWA, we only have 40 minutes to engage with them, and for sometimes it's not enough for us to really know well our student. So we will be able to make use of this. We can interact more with our students by using our consultation period. So in some types of synchronous interaction, so we can have another video call or video chat or phone call to our students, because this way it is very important because it can help us to familiarize our students, and it can also give us a contact of it can also give them the contact to us as the teachers. And with this we can continue our interaction as well. And if for those students who are struggling, we can also identify those students. And if we have this scheduled time for them, like for example in your consultation period, you can perhaps announce in the Canvas announcement that you want to meet, or you can just message the student to meet them just for a few minutes, just talking to them and identifying what are their difficulties, what are their experiences, what are they struggling at the moment, because that way it can help you learn more about them, and you can also help them assist them and in learning more. Another thing is to provide timely feedback. So if you notice, this is one of the statements that I presented to you earlier. So providing timely feedback is also important to get to know our students, because this way we'll be able to respond to their queries, to their concerns. So one tip there is, perhaps if there are students who are um, sending messages at night, and we cannot cater them, right? So probably in the morning at 8 a.m. when we start, it's time for the class hours. You can just read the notifications, the emails. You can just view the Canvas inbox. So if you set this as your routine, then it will also help us find time to give feedback to our students. And it is a very good practice because that way, if they have concerns, um, we can directly give remarks or perhaps solutions to what they are facing at the moment. Next is check the students if they are engaged. So when you talk about checking the students are engaged, it's about um, identifying as well how much they spend on our course. Like during the TOWAS, if you can also try to check the attendance, because those students who are not really attending TOWAS, these are the problematic ones. So if you'll be able to check how active or how participative are they in the TOWAS, for example, then you will be able to address the problems as well. And if that's the case, we will not be able to conduct more conferences because there are students who are not responding. So if you just directly identify or immediately identify this set of students who are struggling, who are not really are unresponsive, then that way we will be able to address our concerns as well. Next is to develop a system of supports. So as teachers, we also have to have a we have to be the means also for our students to be um, something that we can lean on, because that way we will be able um, to give um, to let them feel that they're also felt by their teachers. Okay, some students, if they are bombarded with the activities that we have, with the loads of works that we have, not just in school, but also there are problems that they are encountering at home. So if we have this system of supports, like we can also tap with our guiding counseling team, because these people will also help them um, to address their concerns, especially right now that there are many students who are feeling like they have mental problems, psychological problems, something like that. And that is why as teachers, especially we are in this institution, we also have to develop our system of supports for the students. And lastly, we have here address issues of access and equity. So when you say address issues of access and equity, it's about being compassionate to our students. So like for example, we have students who don't have the materials, like the gadgets that are very that can really load fast, because for example the internet connection. So we also have to understand their case, because that way we can still feel that they are also felt, or somewhat like they are also um, they're also felt by the teachers, something like that. And that way we can also improve our means of communication to our students as well. Okay, so next we have here some or a few of the apps that we can also use for getting to know. We can make use of Padlet. Anyways, I will just give you a short introduction for this, but I just about sharing, because um, tomorrow in tomorrow sessions, there will be a detailed review regarding these apps that I am presenting to you. But for now, I would like to ask who among you here were able to make use of Padlet or Wakelet in learning or in knowing more about their students? May I ask Miss Lori Lynn, were you able to make use of Padlet or Wakelet, Miss? Or do you use any other apps to get to know more your students? Okay. It's a good thing, Miss, that you're able to use Padlet because these are also very interesting apps. It can also show the faces of the students, and that way we'll be able to familiarize all of them. And if we're able to face each other in the near future, then at least we can familiarize. We will be able to know, these are my students before, something like that. Um, Next, we proceed to the second key area in teaching. We have here the collaboration. So this time, I would like to ask a few about sharing them, how were they able to conduct collaboration in their classes. Um, yes, Sir Lowell, what were you, how did you conduct collaboration to your classes, sir?
Afternoon, sir. Actually, I am fan of having collaboration with my classes, especially assignments. No? So what I did is I used the Google Apps, Docs, Google Docs, Google Sheets. They actually appreciated the use of Google Sheets, especially in showing solution and of course creating reports, counting report, for example, or solving problems wherein they can collaborate on how are they going to solve the specific problem while the others can be 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 set as a viewers lang, no, the classmates will set as a viewers while the group assigned will be assigned as uh, editors, no, then ako commenter, I could comment on the work uh, of the student. However, the problem here is on the part of giving on the assessment part, assigning points because I observe some students are not engaging or uh, acted as a free rider, for example. That's why the rubric for peer evaluation is given also in order to that I cannot monitor magod. There are a lot of students. For example, 40 class size with at most 3 to 5 students per group. You cannot really see what's going on for sa every group. Even if magka-breakout, you will just visit from room to room and then or on their assignment at their own convenience of time. You cannot see how much effort that the individual is given, and you cannot grade based on the group. Kay again, to discourage free riders, I want a full engage a participative and engaging output, no, from the student. Also in that is very useful also in research. For example, having a common document like Google Docs, they can have an updated file for the as the research output or mini research. Dili lang katong research good na thesis, but even mini research, I can see which to the what are the inputs or insight from this student kay naa siya murag record history unsa iyahang gisulat, unsa iyahang gidelete or unsa lang mga comments. So with that, that's my way of having collaboration. I think that's my way of based on my experience, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sir Luel. So those are very good inputs, actually, sir. The sharing that you did or the ideas that you share are also very good things that we can apply when we do collaboration and making use of Google Docs, Google Sheets. Those are um, very great apps to use when we conduct collaboration. And yes, you notice about the freeloaders, and those are also one of the disadvantages when we are having collaboration. So later on, we will also be discussing how can we avoid having those freeloaders. Thank you so much, Sir Lowell. How about you, Mom Sally? How were you able to conduct collaboration, ma'am?
Will it be me? I'm the only
Yes,
Sally.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Sorry,
sige.
ma'am.
So, good afternoon, everyone. So, what I do sa collaboration, sir, is that I balance man good individual and group activities for difficult ones. I do group activities. So, what I did is ask them to evaluate at the end. Okay. After I checked it, they returned with pictures of their score, and then they were asked to give scores for their group mates according to cooperation. So at the end of my, I don't know, each of my module, I wrote there I already write there the instructions, and then ask them to make sure that they see how much is their group mates are, I don't know, are giving them. Okay, probable man siya zero. So I told them na even if perfect yung score for the group, okay, they have to watch the end of the module, or they have to see the end of the module and how much their group mates are giving them. That is why kote ko, dogay ko mga mag-grades, okay? I will check it individually, manggod. So it's really difficult, no? That's my difficulty sa group activities. Okay, sir.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Sally, for sharing your thoughts as well. So that is all. You are really correct in with regards to the when we talk about collaboration. So there are also difficulties that we also face or encounter. Now let's try to see some tips that I also have from a source about how can we conduct collaborative activities. So for the collaboration, we have first established our group goals. So this is one of the statements that I mentioned earlier. So when you say establish group goals, it's about giving the directions before conducting for example, the breakout, for sending the students to breakout rooms. So it has to be clear to them what are the necessary things that they need to do, and they have to clarify as well if they have concerns and if they also have clarifications regarding the activity that we are going to do. So first, we have to really make our goals, our tasks, our activities, the mechanics of our activities if we have to our students. So that's the first thing. Another thing is to keep groups mid-sized. So to avoid having freeloaders, we also have to make sure that our groupings are in mid-sized. So preferably perhaps 2 to 3 to 5 members per group. It may be very difficult because having a big number of students in the class, uh, trying to realize this is very hard. However, if we really try to improve also our ways of collaborating our students, then it would be easier. It would be helpful as well. Now, for those students, if we have our groups already, one thing that I also learned that to make sure that the students participate in the groupings, we also have to give them individual tasks. Like for example, in the group, there will be somebody who will play this role. Like for example, he is the one who going to solve the certain problems, then the other member will solve the other one. So that way, if they are given specific tasks within the group, then they will be able to also work on their own. And then after that, the problem there is some members don't like the answer or the output of this certain member, especially the leader. They don't like this one, so they have to do it on their own. So if that's the way, if that's the case, we also have to challenge, especially the group leaders, as to how they're going to help their members as well to have a good output, and that way also as a group they will be able to help one another and improve as well, and give a very good output. Next is to build trust and promote open communication. So when you say build trust and um, promote communication, it's about um, we, building trust is essential. So we dealing with emotional issues that arise immediately and any interpersonal problems before moving on. In other words, collaborations can help the students to improve their interpersonal skills as one of the multiple intelligences. And then having this, we have to encourage to the team members to explain the concept and thoroughly to each other. And that way, we also have, it can also help in building trust to one another. And then that way, we can also provide and receive intricate explanations and gain most from collaborative learning. And then the key there is we have to the communication. So open communication is the key for us to make sure that our collaborative activities are done successfully. Next is the use of real world problems. It is very important that the activities that we give to them are are related. It is familiar with our students. Like for example, in our activities perhaps. So let's try to make it more example in our area, like it's more specific in we deal with the things that are experienced within our community perhaps, and that way they are familiar with the given problem, and it can also help them feel like they are doing it on their own in the real scenario. So we have it is better that when you conduct collaborative activities, it really hits the personal experiences of our students. So by using real world problems. Next is to value intellectual divergence. So when you say valuing the intellectual divergence of the students, it's about being able to respect and appreciate the viewpoints ev- of every member, and that will help them um, work successfully. And for instance, class discussions can emphasize the need for different perspectives, and this way we can create a classroom environment that encourages independent learning. So teaching students the value of multiplicity in thought. We can also give historical or social examples where people working together were able to reach the complex solutions of the problems at hand. So, uh, value intellectual divergence. Now, for the apps that we can also make use for collaboration, Sir Luel, who shared earlier, mentioned about Google Docs, because that's correct. When you conduct collaboration, we can make use of Google Docs. That way, according to him, we can see the history or the history of who are giving inputs in the given document. So that's a good thing as well to know how participative or how active are the students in doing their tasks. And aside from that, we also have this Jamboard. I believe you are also familiar with Jamboard. Can you click the reset button if you were able to make use of Jamboard? Okay, so Jamboard is also part of the Google Apps, because through Jamboard we can also see the students can write sticky notes like that, and that way we can also see who are during the TOWAS. We can actually see there who are posting answers to given questions. So Jamboard. For Ziteboard, this is a new. This is also an app for especially for mathematics, wherein the teachers can also um, make use of. For example, the Wacom tab, wherein you can write your solutions there, and the students can also see your solutions, like handwritten na solutions. That way, we can also help them to to feel like we are teaching them face to face, so something like that. Okay, so those are for collaboration. The next thing here is, or the next key area is about the reflection. So we are touching here the affective domain of our students. So now I would like to ask somebody to share about how were they able to conduct reflection, meaning how we were able to um, let their students share their insights, and that can also improve their values. So the reflection of reflective activities. May I ask, Sir Sir Raimundo Dolor, Sir, how were you able to conduct reflective activities in your classes? Okay, I guess Sir Dolor is somewhat busy. May I ask Sir Nemar?
Hi, good afternoon. For the reflection activities, I still applied the one that we used to have last time when we had our former format for module. I don't know if it's the same with the basic education, but for the higher ed, we have a reflection per portion, and the reflection is normally done as a submission, but oftentimes I also embed it during the TEDOA. So, for example, one of the activities I had for reflection is the topic is about, let's say, estate planning, and I asked them about their experiences, about families that were into, let's say, family trouble or quarrel um, because of division of the estate of the deceased person. So somewhat like that, but I'd like to hear more on the during the session for TEDOA for the reflection in the final stage or final hours or minutes sa TEDOA.
Thank you so much, Sir Demar. So that's also a good practice, sir, that it's better also to really hear from the students at immediate na answer from the students, because that way we can really touch their personal experience, so how they will be able to reflect on certain ideas. So that's a good thing, Sir Demar. Thank you so much, sir. Um, may I also ask Ma'am Julieta Bitonio? Good afternoon, ma'am.
Okay, good afternoon, sir. Now, in my case, I think for reflection, sir, because I'm handling the doctoral and masteral group. In the doctoral, I only have one or two students. So, at the end of the sharing of report, I ask them their insights, their reflection, and then I also ask a separate reflection that will be submitted in the Google Classroom that I created in at the beginning of that. And then this reflection that I will ask them to submit is reflection out of the reports from their classmates. So that's it, sir. But usually, towards the end or during the discussion, I will be asking them insights about the topics. I think in the graduate school, Mangod sir, is it's more of collaboration always. We discuss and then share, ask the other people to share their insight also or ideas about the topics that's reported. But I do ask them towards the end their insights and then reflection to be submitted at the at the end of the reporting, Like, for example, if I have a lot of students, I would say, for this week, we have this topic. So you have to submit your reflection. Then I create a Google Classroom for that. A room no for submission. Ingon ana ako sir.
That's also nice, ma'am. Thank you so much for sharing your practice of letting your students share their reflection. Thank you
Thank you,
so much,
sir.
ma'am.
Mm.
Okay. How about you, ma'am? I Miss Aprilyn. How do you conduct reflective activities to your students?
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. So for me, sir, for the reflection part, I tend to ask the students during the TDOA about some certain scenario. I will be giving them real life scenario. Then I will ask them what are their ideas with regards to the scenario, or if ever they are the one who is engaged in that certain scenario, how will they solve that certain problem? So more or less, Sir Ana, since my subjects is accounting man, so I just want them to think or reflect on something that is based on real life. So that's my way, sir. And another thing also, same with surnames, I also practice the reflection in the discussion board embedded in the modules. But more or less, if I will not be requiring the student to submit or to write their answers in the module, there are some students that will disregard the reflection part. So in my end, I will really require them, and if much better, I will give ano na lang points, like 5 points baka ha, for them to be motivated also. At the same time, they will be learning about a certain topic that can be a help in their in the long run pod in their experience baka ha, or anything. So thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, Miss April. It's nice to see you once again. How about you, Ma'am Darrell? How did you apply reflective activities, ma'am? I guess Mom Daryl is also busy singing with Sir Dolor. Uh, may I ask other teacher here? How about you, Miss Nicole?
For me, sir, I actually have that reflection part. Um, it's not always at the end of the discussion, but if you can integrate something that would be kind of reflective questions for the students, I will give that to them. So maybe in our discipline, it's so hard to integrate real life situations, and then by that kung naa ko yung mga mostly inani jud ako ang concert technique that if I can associate the topic to a real life situation, I will ask reflections from my students. And that's it, sir. I usually not um in kuan bitaw in a basic style sa atong teaching is a reflection or um mga values integration will be fall at the last part of the discussion. But for me, as long as you can um, integrate reflection there, then you can have that during the discussion, and then I usually have this reflective style, the connect the use of our topic in the real life situation. By that I can ask reflections for my students.
Thank you so much, Miss Nicole, for your sharing as well. Okay, those ideas that you share are very great, and it can also help us, the other participants as well, because those things are best activities or best strategies as well to implement or somewhat like conduct reflective activities inside the class. Now, I will also be sharing with you the tips that I also have experienced. For example, here, first thing, we also have to ask powerful questions to reflect on a deeper level. At the end of a quarter, our main goal is to make sure that the students will be able to answer the essential question and give the enduring understanding. So for the powerful questions, these are questions, higher level questions. You can also give probing questions that can also um, help in and help the students to answer the powerful questions, because this way we will be able to encourage the students to improve their critical thinking skills as well. Another thing is we employ video, song, and poem analysis. So all these things, this can also help to to assist to facilitate the learning of the students, and will also encourage their it can also help them to share insights regarding the lessons that we also discuss. Like for example, through a video, perhaps if a video could be an example, and then after that, this way it it can strike two birds at one stone. Like um, you touch the main lesson, the main concept of your the main concept that you are teaching to your students, and then it can also hit the emotional aspect, the affective domain of the lesson. So that is why it's also a good thing to employ or to use video, song, or poem analysis, or anything, any other ideas. Like for example, you can make use of stories like that, most especially for the basic ed. And another thing is we also um, use the values to integrate, like we get from the Salin guiding principles. And we can also make use of the 12 virtues of a solid leader, like the gravity. Like for example, you can, if in making your lesson plans or learning modules, you can try to, for example, if this is your lesson, let's say your lesson is about let's say problem solving, like for example, then you can try to associate this with the other with the 12 virtues. Like for example, it can we can touch the vigilance. Are the students being watchful? How vigilant are they in the current issues that the society is facing, something like that. So those way, you will be able to integrate values. So that's a good activity as well. And another thing is to give examples that relate to their personal experiences. So it always boils down to making sure that the students can really relate on our lessons. Because if they don't relate, it's really fine. It can be very hard for them to give their personal ideas, because they did not experience it. So that is why it is always good to give examples that hit or that touches their personal thoughts, their emotions, or in overall their experiences. And lastly, we also have to promote sense of empowerment and inner fulfillment. So that is why it's always good to conduct, for example, games or activities. Like for example, the use of quizzes wherein you employ games, like if ever they will be able to win something like that, at least it can promote sense of empowerment or fulfillment. And that is why it is always good to give praises to the students, especially if they are answering your questions well. Like for example, there is a question given, and then they were able to answer it. So that's why you have to praise, like, wow, magnificent, very good, because that way they feel like, oh, they are. It can give them a sense of fulfillment as well, and it can also help them to be more motivated, to be more active in our classes. So those things that can also help in for our reflective activities. Now there are things, or there are apps that we can use as well when we have reflection, so we can make use of Mentimeter. Who among you here made use of Mentimeter when giving reflective activities? You can click the raise hand button. Okay, so I guess on so far none. How about Wakelet? Are you familiar with Wakelet? So this is also this. It's just the same with Padlet. Good thing here is for Wakelet we can make a folder to where the students can put all of their outputs. So Wakelet and then also peer deck. I would just like to ask other teachers about what apps did they use to conduct reflective activities. Can I go back to you, Sir Dolor?
Yes, sir, Rich. Ang sa ni sir?
What other apps, sir, that you use to conduct reflective activities aside from the apps that I also show here in the slide?
Um, I did not use any related apps. I just used the Canvas for the submission of the reflection.
Mm.
Uh, I will find some time to explore these apps that you suggested. Right.
Okay, it's okay,
I'm
sir.
glad, I'm glad that this one is organized for me also to learn the other possible applications that we can use for the class.
Okay. Thank you, sir, for sharing your thoughts as well.
Thanks.
Okay, how about you, Miss Emmy Dungog?
Yes, good afternoon.
Yes, Miss. What are other apps that you use to conduct your reflective activities, Miss?
Yes, I'm actually using Nearpod
Mm,
and Slido. That's the most favorite apps that I've been using lately.
okay. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
thank you so much, Miss Amy. Those things are also good. Like for Slido, you can just embed it in the slides in the Google Slides, like what I did also earlier. So that's a good thing. Um, how about you, Miss J Saval? I'm sorry if I am I reading it correctly, Miss J Saval.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. I usually make use of Peer Deck, sir, the Mentimeter, the Slido, including unsa gani ito isa pa, Peer Deck also, and then another one is Quizlet for quizzes. But for reflection, sir, I usually make use of Ato, same with Miss Alisna and Sir Nemar. Integrating it on my TOA and at the same time putting it on the last portion reflect as a reflection assignment for my students regarding the topic that I had discussed. That would be all, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Chisa. So all those things that you shared are actually great. I hope that the others also can take ideas from what we shared as well. So thank you so much for your participation. This time, we will have first we have an activity, so we will have a demonstration. So for this demonstration you will be grouped and then into three groups. So the first group will be demonstrating about at least one of the tips presented in the session, like for example the tips that I also presented here when you get to know your students. So here, for the group one, it's about getting to know, and then group two will be about collaboration, and then group three for reflection. So in this activity, somebody will act as the teacher, and the others will act as students. So this way, hopefully we'll be able to familiarize all your group members so that later you will be able also to know who are participating in your role play, for example. And then I will be giving you 10 minutes to brainstorm and then 5 minutes for your presentation. So before I will be um, sending you to different breakout rooms, are there any questions for regarding this activity? You can click the raise hand button. Okay. Yes, Ma'am Julieta.
Sir, actually, it's not a question, but just a sharing, no, of all the things that you have shared. I I appreciated it because like submission of I really don't know about all those apps that you were sharing. So I'm interested to navigate with that. Um, Knowing na I am not familiar with in fact at the start bag-ulang ko nagkuan manggali og reflection sa ako ang mga klase. I think I started it last year pa lang. Before wala gyud ko na sir because I do not even know how to get into the canvas. Kinahanglan pa ko tutor para makasulod ko dira. So I don't know but so I'm just very happy that these things are shared. So at least I will have now an idea as to how. But my problem pa is kuan pa magpa-tutor pa ko sir. Thank you for that sharing sir. Maora na ako ah.
Thank
So
you so much, ma'am. Anyways, these things, I was not able to actually give you a deeper demonstration regarding the apps because all of these apps will also be discussed tomorrow and tomorrow sessions.
ay
So that's why I'm
okay.
just introducing you a few because
Mm,
according to the ADMST, they told me that some of the apps will be demonstrated tomorrow. Mhm.
okay, sige. Thank you sir.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. Okay, how about the others? Do you have any question regarding the demonstration? If none, can you click the raise hand button? Okay. Thank you, teachers. I will be grouping you first. So for the breakout rooms, I am not making use of the mid-sized group since we all have 19 participants. Okay, for a while. Um, 10 minutes for a while. Okay, I already have the breakout rooms. I hope that you can see it now so that you can move to your to the different breakout rooms. Sir, Miss DC, Miss Amy. Okay, I will be going to. Miss Daisy, do you have any problems about entering your group breakout room? Miss Daisy, how about you, Miss Amy? Are you having trouble, miss? Hi, Miss Lid.
Sir Rage,
Hi, Miss Lin.
naunsa na nahitabo? Sorry kayo.
It's okay, Miss Oy.
Nagkalit.
Kuan.
Na ako
Busy
giskwelahan,
yun.
kaya na ako'y forum. Unsay nahitabo na oy?
Kasi Miss Oy, we just have kuan lang, groupings, like
Unsa
may
naman?
presentation lang sila. Present
Present.
lang sila. Mm-mm. Then after,
So,
mora oy, then if ever na yung mga questions, okay, we
sa
will go
apps na
back
na.
at form on pod. I dili siya apps, Miss Oy, more on katubit ang mga tips ni share, so how will you apply it in the real life scenario or in their classes, something ana.
So, man ko nga group, di mo ato ko.
Kuan ning na danawa siya sa uy wala na pud siya.
Wala lagi tao sa group 3.
Lagi mo kuan lang sige okay ra miss ning group 1 o group 2 kay wa may tawo pagtunga nako nang wala tanan ang sa
Lagi nalibog ko. Unsa man ang out na sila?
nang out to siya ang sa group 3. Naa siya for example akong tanawon na pila ka buok. Nangawala man si Miss ay si Miss Rachel, si Miss Darrell, si Sir John Mark, murag nangapil man guni sila ganina. Nantaw-lantaw lang sila din malhin. So kay namalhin man sila, apil man recorded man gud sila as part of the participants. So
So,
nabutang sila sa group 3.
amang ko nga group.
Kuan na lang
Magsulo ko ani ron.
i ikuan lang ti ka i-move ti ka sa group 2.
Si Judith po do. Naman good. Sige, sige.
Sige,
Naman ko.
kuan ti ka sa group 2. Sige, move ti ka
Ibig gusto ko. Natwara na uman. Naluoy kayo ako ang leaders ka na present sila.
1 minute na lang. Welcome back, teachers. Okay. So it seems the others are already here. Um, I'm sure that you're very ready for this activity. Can you click the raise hand button to show that you're ready for this activity? Okay, nobody's clicking the raise hand button. Anyways,
That's already pa. Wala lagi.
sige. Anyways, it's already 3:46 and we will end at by 4. So we have to start our presentation. So without further ado, may I welcome the first group, the getting to know group. If you can just tell me if you will have presentation so that I can also stop presenting. Okay, so group 1, let's give them welcoming applause.
Good afternoon, everyone. In our group, unfortunately, we are lacking with that time, and but we have the idea and we are given the topic getting to know each other. So we use Jamboard. Me myself will serve as a teacher, and then I give my students this instruction that they will describe on how are they feeling right now, and after that one I will call them one by one, and then of course share the because I give them the choices between emoji or a picture and how they're going to describe how they're feeling right now, and as of that way, after calling their names, of course they will share. So I guess that's for the group one, sir, but we are having a short katong time, so na short misa time, and then we did not kuan na lang pod, sir, practice it in the session or in the breakout room. Thank you, sir Rage.
Okay. So that was your idea for your presentation. For group two, can you give comments to what they shared? Miss April.
So good afternoon, everyone. So I was tasked to give comments for group one, but since there is no presentation, there is no demonstration, so my comment will only be limited. uh, um, Most likely, when we say, Mong God, getting to know, using the Jamboard, for those who experience using the, we will present na trigger si Sir Nems.
We will present the our activity.
Sige. Sige daw, sir. Pasikati ko, Sir Nems.
Miss Eve, I'll take over as a teacher. Would it be
Yes,
okay?
sir. Okay,
Wow.
sir. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Earlier, I asked you to post a picture that would best represent yourself, and later on, I'll be asking you what's the reason behind you chose that picture. Okay, so since you have posted already the picture, may I ask who posted this picture?
Me po.
Yes, Miss Emmy, could you share to us why you have chosen that picture?
Yes po, kasi this is my last subject for this day. So, most likely I'm information overload na po. So, that's why I chose that picture.
Thank you so much, Miss Emmy. Miss Emmy, could you choose a picture that you'd like to, that would be the next to explain his or her picture?
Yeah, I'd
Which
like
among the
to,
pictures?
yes, the a lady with a laptop.
Okay, who owns the picture?
So
Who
I
posted?
posted that picture. So that is what really I'm feeling right now. I'm really very sleepy because I have been working since last night now with my modules. I have to finish everything because tomorrow we'll be having a talk pa. And then right now, I'm trying to still keep up with the discussion and everything. Drinking water. More dyan ako na-feel ko. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Kylie. And for the last one, allow me to share my picture. This is actually my picture, the lion. I'm feeling relaxed, but anytime soon, I'm ready to roar. Okay, thank you so much, Morato. Kay short of time. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Group 1. Nakaka-catch up, ra. Congratulations. So let's give them the salient clap A. Okay, thank you so much, Group 1. So this time, Miss April can really give now a comment. You are muted, Miss.
Unmute Miss Aprilyn.
Nawala iyahang kuan mic. Nawala ang microphone.
So ito na guys, Ma'am Nining, oh.
Muted ang visitor.
Na itong nag-challenge na, sir. Mute, ma'am.
Mute Japon, Miss. You can, ano na lang, Miss, we can have another member from Group 2 who can share or give comments na lang to substitute or replace Miss Aprilin. So anyone from Group 2 will give comment?
Mo
Okay.
kay isa ka April. Rhyme-rhyme sila.
So there another April out now. Who is another April?
Si April Aliyah.
Si madungog na ko, sir.
Ay,
Ah,
okay. So saved by the bell. So yes, Miss April.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Sorry for the technical difficulty. Ganyan talaga pag live. For my comments for group 1, so I appreciate the presentation, the very prepared surnames. So by the way, I appreciate the way that the teacher implemented the activity using the Jamboard, because it could help us know our students. For example, we are to make that activity before the discussion. I appreciate you. Before the discussion, so we can set a mood in our class. So we have 35 minutes man na TDOA, and 10 minutes I allocate na to for Jamboard activity. So we can create a mood for our students. So let's say, for example, generally all of our students I felt sleepy. So we can do a shift sa activity ba nato na we can make our student more lively baka or the activity should be more interactive in order for them not to be sleepy. So thank you so much for that idea. Kay it could help us also um, apply that activity in our class. So thank you so much, sir and Sir Nems.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss April, for your comment, and that's a good comment, Miss. So once again, congratulations for the group 1 for being able to present and show a good performance. Okay, so this time let's proceed to the group 2. Let's welcome them with a big round of applause.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. For our group, we are assigned to have the collaboration. So for collaboration, we make use of canva.com. So just a hint for everyone, for you to create a collaborative team or collaboration team for your students online using canva.com, you can just go to canva.com, the free account for teachers or for students. Kay mas mahal-mahal man po ang, I think, I am not so sure with the subscription for Canva. And then you only have to go under the team in this portion and then click collaboration team and invite members as many as you can, and then you will be redirected to these following to these saan siya ka ng monitor for this slide, and then you can, as a teacher, you can take a look at the design of your students, all the folders that they had created as a team, the templates that they have made, the applications that they have used, all the people that are included or that are assigned on that specific collaboration team under Canva, and the groups. So we already have now students under my team, collaboration team. You already are in this website right now for canva.com. I want you to create a poster that will promote LaSalle University to first year students. So my students in here are the following. I have Sir Luel, Miss Daisy, and Mom Emmy. So the three of you, of course, Miss Aprilin is also included in here. I want you to create a poster that will promote LaSalle University as a whole to first year students. All right. You can start editing. Sir Luel already input something on the slide?
Groupmates, tabang pud mo oy.
Where are the others? How about Miss Daisy? Ma'am Emmy? Ma'am Emmy is in.
Miss Jaisabel,
Ma'am,
I
ibagsak
would
na sila,
like
ma'am.
I would like to ask if I am visible in the activity because I tried to use my phone for us also to identify what are some of the things that we need to consider if the student is making use of their phone.
Oh yes, Miss. I'll have to send you. You are not visible, so I'll have to send you the share design for you to be included in the collaboration. You are now visible, Miss.
Ma'am Jace, pwede pa send sa link. Hinaya mong internet.
Aprilin. Done, Miss Aprilin.
Thank you, Ma'am Jace.
Me too, miss. Can you send me the link, miss? Thank you, miss.
Okay. John Bill Catarata. So a lot of my students are now in the canva.com. You can start editing or you can start making the poster that will promote La Salle University to all first year students. Incoming, rather, first year students. Very good. You already had a good output as of this moment. Feel free to use the different buttons in here for you to edit the poster. All right, that would be all, sir, for our. Oh, what happened to my slide? Let me share again, sir, my slide. Present now a window. This one. I know, not a window. A tab.
Miss J.
I'll have
Sabel.
to share na lang my whole, sir. For the sake of others, kay gakuan siya. Sorry.
It's okay, miss. Okay,
My
so it's okay,
my
miss.
entire screen. No,
Okay.
dili lagi siya gihapon. What happened to
You
this?
can just click the other tab, miss, because you show there
Ah,
the tab for for Google Meet. But anyways, thank you so much, miss. It's okay.
okay,
Now
sir.
I was able to see as well your presentation. So congratulations once again for Group 2 for your presentation. Let's give them 5 big claps. May I hear a um, comment from the Group 1? Okay, sorry. There is already a message here from EDMST that we have to go back now to the main room. So before that, I would just like to thank each and every one of you for your presentation and for your active participation as well for today's session. And hopefully, we're able to achieve all of these objectives. If yes, can you click the raise hand button? Okay, good. And as a wrap up or as an end activity, you can just type on our chat box your takeaway for this session. So what was the lesson or what have you learned from today's session? And after that, you may after you type your answer in the chat box, then you can go back to main link. Okay, we have an answer from Sir Nemar, Pedagogy Tips, and then thank you as well, teachers, for your appreciation as well for this session. Thank you so much. Very engaging, and then I learned a lot. Okay, sige. Thank you so much, teachers. I am very happy for the takeaways that you shared here in our chat box. And with that, let's end this activity here and live Jesus in our hearts forever.
Forever.
TechZone Con
Thank you,
2022
sir.
Festival of Learning.
Thank you so much.
TechZone
Thank
Con
you, sir.
2022 is presented to
Thank
you by
you.
LaSalle
Thank you, sir.
University.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you,
Yes,
ma'am.
sir.
Thank you, sir.